Welcome back. In this demonstration I'm going to show you how to fold this Landspeeder from the Star Wars book Star Wars Origami by Chris Alexander. Lovely book with lots of great Star Wars models in it. I highly suggest getting this book if you're anywhere interested in origami and or Star Wars. Okay, looks like this. Couple little interesting folds. I would say probably the hardest part of this the first time doing it was getting this little squash fold right there. But you'll see if I tilt this up, notice how these three engines look and how the model just kind of fits together at the end. Okay, to get started you'll need any kind of piece of paper. I will be using an A4 piece of paper, and just take this triangle here, fold it down to meet your other edge here and get it nice and parallel so that those two edges are perfectly aligned, and then do a crisp valley fold right along the diagonal. Once you've got that, take your scissors and trim off the bottom portion of the paper so that you're left with a nice square. Okay, when I open this up, I'll have a valley fold right along the center here, and what you're going to want to do is start by making a preliminary base. Okay, to get started with that, we're going to take the right hand edge here and fold it over to the left hand edge here and make a nice crisp valley fold. Sorry that my paper at the moment is off of the screen, but I wanted to make sure it was zoomed in enough so we could get it later. Get all the close-up shots later. Then take your paper, flip it over, and take the bottom edge and fold it up to the top edge. So those are exactly parallel. And crease that really well with your bone folder. Open it up. Valley fold right hand side to the left hand side. Use your bone folder. And then if I just rotate this model and pull these two corners down and squash the top flat, I'll have myself a nice preliminary base. Okay, from there we're going to need to yet again fold it into the next kind of base, which is going to be the bird base. So take this top flap of your preliminary base, fold it into the center, crease it well, and repeat this procedure on the remaining flaps. So I'm going to bring this flap from the left hand edge into the center, crease it well, flip my model over, fold the left hand edge into the center, crease it with my bone folder, left hand edge into the center, creasing it. Make sure not to go across that center line. Crease it with your bone folder. Okay, and it doesn't say this in the directions, but I like to usually just take this top triangle, fold it down, just to give yourself a little area or a guideline for where your petal fold will be. Unfold these flaps, take the top flap of paper here and lift it up. Valley folding right here along that crease and bringing the edges of your petal fold in. Now at this point, if you've got any imperfections in your folding, you can kind of hopefully recrease it and get all the edges of paper nicely along the center. Okay, and flip your model over and repeat the same step on the back. Petal folding this up, reversing the creases to the inside of your model. Like so. Alright, now it says take the top flap and fold it down. Alright, in the video, or if you're using the paper from the book at home, you're going to want to have your paper oriented like this, because this piece here will end up being the front of our Landspeeder. This triangle, inside part of the triangle of your bird base here will be the windshield. Okay, so continuing on, it says to take this corner here and fold it down to here, valley fold it. This is going to give you the crease for sync folding it. So it says to sync fold it in the direction, so I'm just going to flip my model over, open these flaps up, and sync fold this inside like that. Okay, so that's what the top should look like. Flipping the model back over to the front. Now comes one of the tricky parts here. We're going to take this top flap of our bird base and fold this corner into the center so that the edge here is parallel with our center crease. Alright, should look something like that, and you'll see this leftover flap down here from the bottom of our bird base. Repeat this same step on the left hand side, trying to make them as nice and neat as possible and having this outside crease as parallel to the center as possible. That'll make your model look as nice as possible at the end. Now these two little triangles we have here, we're going to inside reverse fold them or sync fold them into your model. So I'm just going to take this and kind of separate this flap here and separate this flap up here, and you'll notice as I do this, if I pull it open, you'll see that triangle here. It's this triangle where my thumb is. This is already a valley fold, but this one needs to be reversed. Okay, now this one here is a mountain fold and needs to be reversed up like this. And then this crease here is a valley fold and needs to be reversed into a mountain fold. So that when you're done, you'll have this kind of a sync fold. You can kind of see that if I rotate the paper around. Okay, then you're going to need to do the same thing to this flap over here. So again, opening it up. Here's the triangle. I just open that paper. Here's our triangle, and we're just going to crease these two, valley fold those, make sure they're nice little valley folds. I actually like to take this one next and valley fold this one. Sometimes it helps if you pull your paper and then push that one in and reverse those folds. Okay, now we've got this portion, this top part here, tucked inside in a sync fold. Now it says the next part here, you're going to sync fold it again. You're going to sync fold this bottom layer inside. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to flip my model over. It doesn't say this in the directions, but I'm just going to flip it over and fold these in just like we did on the prior step. And I'm folding it back on this side so I can just make sure it's equal here and it's parallel to the top flap, so it looks nice and neat when I'm finished. Okay, so again, valley folding this side. Now, one of the tricks here is making sure we don't get these two flaps involved somehow in or around this other area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these two flaps back up, and I want to make sure that I keep it separate from this stuff up here. And you might have to kind of work with this, but I'm just going to open this flap up, and again you see the same triangle. It's exactly the same step, really. You're just kind of dealing with some extra folded over paper. Okay, so here's my valley fold, mountain folds, valley fold, mountain fold along the outside of the triangle. So basically the outside of this triangle is all mountain folds, and the inside three here are valley folds going down like that. Okay, sync fold the other side like this. And Okay, now after completing this step, the directions leave off with your model looking like this. Okay, so I had my model all twisted around, but there you should have one sink fold on this side, and you can notice how it's bent here, and this sink fold back here, and the same thing on the other side. You can kind of see those different sink folds in there. Okay, now we're here. We have this top flap of paper, which is one of the bottom pieces of our old bird base. We're going to make a rabbit ear fold, so we're going to take this left hand edge here and fold it up to our like center guideline that's right there in the model. Okay, so I'm going to valley fold this right there. Should look like that when you're done. And unfold it. Now take the right hand edge, do the same procedure. Like so. Unfold it, and now I'm just going to bring these two edges here together and bring them down to meet in the center. I'm actually going to turn my model so you can see this a little better. Okay, I'm going to bring these two here and then crease this down the middle like that. Okay, so it should look something like that. In the directions, he says to fold it this way or to the right and then recrease it back to the left. Okay. The next step is to take this flap of paper and fold it under. He says to mount and fold it, and Chris wants you to mount and fold it underneath like this, so that there's just a bit of this corner sticking out, and this edge here is parallel with the center line. Okay, and it looks something like this. And at this point, I've folded this model quite a few times, and I have a trouble getting all my paper to line up perfectly there, but it should look something like this. Okay, then instead of mount and folding that, it does say, it has a mount and fold line on there, he wants you to inside reverse this. So when you get done, the paper should actually look like this. It's inside reverse folded. Alright, now the next part here is a part I struggled with at the beginning of this model. Take this edge here, and you're actually going to valley fold it up, and then you're going to take that valley fold and sink fold it inside, which the first couple times you do it is a little tricky, and you kind of have to unfold a bunch of stuff to get it. So if I open this back up here and I open this whole thing up, I'm going to take this line that we see here and I'm going to sink fold that part. So I'm going to reverse those creases here and make it kind of a mountain fold. Make this one a mountain fold. Make this one a mountain fold. Alright, I'm just going to turn this model a bit here. And then as I'm kind of continuing to sink fold this, I'm going to reintroduce that reverse fold there and reintroduce the fold here, this like rabbit ear fold here, so that when I get it creased down, it looks, and this is a part where I fall onto my bone folder in the sense of making sure I use it properly to help me crease in where my big fingers can't quite get. Okay, and you want it to look something like this. So you have this trapezoid shape, and you'll see now this sink fold is like this, but yet this top flap of paper can still open up. Okay, so in the next step, you have to take this engine piece here and flap it open like this. Okay, then you're going to valley fold this point down so that you've got a little bit of diagonal here on the edge and on this edge. This is going to form the top piece here of your engine, the top engine. Okay, so I'm going to fold this down and crease it well. And then take this point, fold it back in just a little bit, like this. And then I'm going to inside reverse fold or sink fold this point. Like so. Okay. And then take this corner, valley fold it into the center, and do the same on the opposite side. Take this corner here, valley fold it into the center, and if you've done a nice accurate job, unlike me, you'll see these should be parallel. Then take this right-handed edge here and just flip it over the top, crease it down, and this creates your engine here for the top. Okay, so that engine, you just leave it lying down. And the next couple steps basically do the same thing. Now there you've got these two pieces down here which are going to form the other two engines, here and here. In the book he does one at a time and then just says to repeat all the steps on the left hand side. I'm going to do both at the same time just because I feel for me it helps me keep things more symmetrical and even. Okay, so he says take this flap here and inside reverse fold it, this flap, so that it's starting at this AB line and creasing out here on a diagonal. Now in the directions it looks about like it comes out here, about where the top edge of your engine is. Like if you imagine a horizontal line from here to the edge, and then down here this little triangle that's sitting right here almost looks like an equilateral triangle. Okay, so again, if you adjust it ever so slightly and it's not exactly like that, you can still come up with a model that looks pretty reasonable. But that's what the directions say. So we're going to inside reverse this one as well. And this is where I like to try to make mine as symmetrical as possible. Okay, so if I have this one here, I like to hold it and just try to line it up. I can even take this and say, well, there's my engine, and that looks like a pretty equilateral triangle. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay, so I get that made and crease it really well, and it looks like that. Okay, then this next one, it says to mount and fold this down. We're actually going to inside reverse fold it. But I'm going to mount and fold this one down here so that my fold line comes right out to this point. Now this point looks more like an isosceles triangle. This triangle in here in the directions. And that kind of helps me figure out about where that fold should be. And then I'm going to inside reverse fold that so it looks something like that. Okay, do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm going to mount and fold this behind until I have my isosceles triangle here, and these sides look pretty even. And then inside reverse fold that, open that flap up, inside reverse fold it so it looks like that. Okay, now take this corner here, and we're actually going to inside reverse fold it back up so that this is essentially parallel with the edge of our ship. Okay, if you want to mount and fold it first, you can. I'm just going to open this up and inside reverse fold it. It's almost falling right on the same line as your crease already is. Right here you can kind of see the paper just like lined right up there. Alright, and I'm going to do the same on this one. I'm just going to open it and inside reverse fold it without pre-folding it. Maybe I will pre-fold it. Okay, there you go. Sorry, I had to fight with that one for a second. Alright. Now you'll see mine is not as even as I would like it to be, but continuing on. Now we're going to perform the same step that we did here with this engine in the center on these edges. I'm going to flap this open. Okay, take this corner, fold it back past this edge. Fold it in just a teeny bit to give us that flat back of the engine. Okay, and then I'm going to unfold this and sink fold this corner. And then fold this one in. And repeat the same on the other side of it. Folding that corner in. Now that that's completed, fold this one over. And there's our engine on the right side. Now repeat the same step on the left hand side. Move the middle engine out of the way. Fold this flap down. This corner back. And at this point you can use this engine as a guide. Fold this little corner in. Unfold it and sink fold. That little piece. Okay, and take this corner and fold it into the center. And take this corner, fold it into the center, and then fold this edge over the top, like that. Okay? Alright, now for the windshield. Take this windshield and you're going to leave yourself about that much room, and you're going to fold this valley, fold these two pieces of paper there, valley fold it over here, and you're going to want to take this, unfold it, and then fold this other side in so you make a little diamond shape right there. Okay. Now this is the kind of hard part in the sense of what you're going to need to do is fold these two edges together so that you have this little point sticking out here. Now, in the first couple times that I tried to do this, I had to pinch this little corner together with like one finger on the outside and one finger on the inside and separate these two pieces with my bone folder so that I created like this little, and I'm sorry it's hard to see with the light here, this little like pocket. And then I had to kind of scrunch it between my fingers to get the squash fold to work out. So it should kind of look like that from the back. It almost looks like a bird base shape where it's got that like kite shape. And then this little corner here goes over the top and pinches down behind your flaps of paper. And I'm sorry, my big old fingers are in the way. Maybe if I turn it this way, like that. Okay, so if it's turned like that, you can see the little triangle deal on the front, and you can see the little flap of paper folded over the back there. Okay, once that's complete, you can just lift the engines up, and to kind of finish those off, I like to pull one over the outside of the other like that and kind of make that shape there, and pull this flap up over the top of the other one and just make sure they look more three-dimensional, and this flap out over the top here like that. So you can see those three engines now and the windshield, and that's the model from the top. So again, that is how you fold the Origami Landspeeder from Chris Alexander's Star Wars Origami.